Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and right over there is Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, Pete Wright.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Any garage sales this week?
No. Nope. But everything's put away now, so that's good.
That's a huge step.
Yes.
It's got to feel cleansing.
It took me 2 weeks, but everything's put away.
It's finally back to normal. That's good.
It's finally back to normal, yes.
It's graduation week here as I record this, and well, at least for one of my kids. The first of my kids is finally out of school. I know I'm saying that weeks and weeks late for much of the country, but finally I am joining at least partially the world in summer.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yours are out, right?
No, they're still in school. They have another week.
Oh, dear. Yeah, see, my oldest one has another week, and it's very difficult for her. Very difficult, because her last week is finals, and my son's already celebrating.
So how is she dealing with finals? Is she okay?
Yeah, she's pretty chill. And you know what's very funny? We went through and I've talked about this on the show before. We went through the 504 plan process, right? And went into school and had met with the counselor and one of her teachers and put all these accommodations together. And she was really desperate for some accommodations and felt like, oh my goodness, like this is going to be fantastic. And since that meeting, she hasn't used her accommodations a single time. She got
so they were sort of a safety net for her.
They were a safety net. And once we got them, and once the teachers ask her before every major exam, would you like to take this in the study center? And she says, I think I'll start here and talk about if I need a distraction-free environment later. And she's finished every exam since our meeting without going to the distraction-free environment. And she comes home and she's so proud. You know what it was, though?
Fantastic.
This is at the same time we had that meeting, we went to the doc, we did all of her physical stuff, and they upped her dosage on the meds. She'd been on a dosage of the med that was too low.
Oh, okay.
And since then, and she still is not a big fan of taking medication, but she is deeply aware of the impact that it makes.
Wow.
So, for me, I mean, let that be a lesson to just staying on top of dosage. If you're frustrated, if you live with medication and are frustrated by your experience with it, absolutely, go have a physical, get some blood work, check it out.
Well, I had a very interesting conversation with my son about finals.
Tell me.
He came home and he was just distraught. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are you so stressed out? I can't believe it. I'm like, what can't you believe? Our language arts teacher is giving us a final. He's not telling us what the questions are going to be on the final, and he expects us to remember everything. And I looked at him and I'm like, well, what do you think a final is? He's just like, he was just beside himself. And I'm like, well, the teachers aren't supposed to give you the questions. Well, they usually do. I'm like, well, you know what? You're in 8th grade and they're probably prepping you for high school, because I can guarantee you in high school, it's not going to happen. And he was just beside himself. And then, of course, it turned around to where I know nothing. I haven't been in school for a long time, so I don't know how they do it.
No, yes, of course.
I love teenagers.
They're the best. Hey, I have one more little bit of follow-up before we dig into the show. I just want to share. Actually, 2 emails that I have received from listeners. And the first one, I lamented about my pending diet and the struggles that I've had over the last couple of years and weight gain and all that stuff. And I just wasn't feeling good last week. Do you remember this? Do you remember this conversation?
Of course I remember. Yes. In fact, you inspired me to drink more water this week.
Well, good. At a minimum. Note, I should say that you asked for the whole diet, but if I inspired you to drink more water, so be it.
Yeah, I can't do exactly what you're doing, but I am trying, and I do feel better this week. So
that's really good.
You are an inspiration, Pete Wright.
Well, it's been the very low calorie diet is a slog. It's tough, but I'm over. The weekend was tough. I was not a very fun person to be around, shaking the sugar, and I was an animal I was a savage. I practically eating pillows. But I got through it, and I'm down. I'm down like 11 pounds this morning, so I'm feeling good. Energy level is stabilized, and at my very lowest this weekend, when I was feeling just awful, I got an email from listener Jill, and I just have to share it because it was really touching. I can't tell you how many times you and Nikki have encouraged me and lifted me up from occasionally a pit of despair, disorganization, broken diets, exercise routines, and general negative thinking. Your honesty, insight, and humor continue to be a very important podcast in my week. I will carry some of your despair, send it telepathically so your load feels lighter. You are not alone. I am rooting for you and sending positive thoughts. Kindest regards, Jill. That was about the most moving email I received last week.
Well, you have another one that you just don't even know about.
Really?
Here, so this is coming from a listener. Sending good thoughts to Pete as well. Sugar's a tough one, but once you're on the other side, it's so much better. I've been off sugar and honey, maple syrup, everything, even natural ones. But I do use stevia monk fruit extract.
Monk fruit extract, sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It took me several tries before it stuck, but each time I learned a little more about myself until I was finally able to kick it for good. Go, Pete. You can do this.
Oh, there you go. See, that is, let me just say, it is touching, but those are just, those can come off as platitudes. What I really mean to say is those are enormously motivating.
Yes.
And we'll talk more about that when we get into the meat of the podcast. I have more thoughts, but I just want to say right up front, thank you, because it is motivating. It makes me make better decisions as I clear the alien out of my system. So thank you for that. We got another message from Elizabeth, who writes, says, hey, Pete, Nikki and Pete, I love the show, and this is my second time getting in touch. You already answered my question about getting married and starting a family with ADHD. Yes, we did. I remember that. She wanted to share something that she says may help other listeners. I hate figuring out what to wear to work in the morning. I work in an office, and I used to frequently be late to work because I couldn't figure out what to wear. I heard about the Day One app on your show, and I have been using it to help me. Whenever I wear an outfit I like, I snap a picture and log it into the Day One app. Now I have about 2 weeks of images to choose from in the morning, and I know I will feel confident in those outfits. The main challenge with this is remembering to take the photo when I have a new outfit I like, because it's not an everyday thing. This also helps me when I go shopping because I can see what I have just by flipping through the Day One app. I love that. That is a wonderful use of Day One. Check out dayoneapp.com.
And it's actually a great example of a success story too.
Truly. Yes, it is.
That helps.
Oh, goodness. See, we should have saved it.
That's okay. We can repeat it next week.
We will repeat it next week. That's the truth. We are doing a success story show next week. Don't forget to send us your success stories however you want to get them to us. You can call us, leave us a voicemail at 503-664-4ADD. Leave your question there. We'll use it on the show, and let us know if you want us to use the actual audio of your voice from your voicemail. Otherwise, we'll just share your question. You can find us on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD, or you can email Nikki directly, Nikki at takecontroladhd.com. Is that right? Did I catch them all?
That is correct. But you know what? I don't think you did your intro.
Well, that was kind of my intro.
That was your intro.
That was really it. It was a poor man's intro today.
All right.
Don't forget.
I don't think anyone's going to care.
You don't think so? Well,
No.
I will. This reminder, 5-star reviews in Apple Podcasts and recommendations in your favorite podcast player like mine, Overcast, helps others discover the show when they need help with their ADHD. So pay it forward. Drop us a kind review. We sure appreciate it. And the reviews that have been coming in are stellar. You people are fantastic. Really, it's just fantastic. So there we go. Let's get started. We're talking about giving up beliefs that hold us back from being happy. Where did this come from?
Well, it came from deleting old email.
That's good.
So I was in my inbox and I was looking through what I had saved and I was deleting some things. And I saw this article that says 13 things you need to give up if you want to be successful.
Was one of them sugar? Because I'm all over that.
No, it was about having a healthy one. Number one was about having a healthy lifestyle, but
Hallelujah.
that's not what I'm going to go into today.
Okay, let's do yours.
But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, who doesn't want to be successful? Like,
Yeah,
I
hey.
saved this article for a reason.
That's right. It's 2 thumbs and looks like this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I opened it up and I was like, well, let's see what this is. Let's check this out. And there were a couple of limiting beliefs that they hit on that I thought, gosh, this really, relates to anybody, but definitely for people who live with ADHD. And I thought if we could talk about this, have a conversation around it, maybe, it would inspire or motivate some people to kind of think about when this happens to them and how to move more towards a happier life by not believing these things. So we will actually put the article in the show notes so you can read all 13 things to give up. But for today, I want to talk about two specific ones. Number 4 is give up your excuses.
Well, that sounds like they're talking to me.
Okay, so this is what they say. Successful people know that they are responsible for their life, no matter their starting point, weaknesses, and past failures. Realizing that you are responsible for what happens next in your life is both frightening and exciting. And when you do, that becomes the only way you can become successful, because excuses limit and prevent us from growing personally and professionally. Own your life. No one else will. Now we're done.
All right.
Podcast is over.
And scene. What do you think?
Well, what I love about this is it's giving your power back. It's empowering you. Because things happen, right, in our life, and it doesn't always go as we planned. Good things happen, bad things happen, but it gives us our power to decide how we're going to respond to it and what we're going to do with it. And, I just think to me, this is a very empowering statement.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, this is the one that when I read this, it made me think about these emails that came in to help me and support me in giving up my excuses, and it just occurred to me that as empowering as it is to take back your life and to feel like you're in control and to recognize, I should not say feel like, it's not a figment. You really are generally. Unless you're incarcerated or, there are things in your life or contexts in which you may not be 100% in control, but largely you are in control of your own choices in your own life. And I feel like I just want to add this piece of be mindful and aware of others around you that are working hard to make those choices for themselves, to remind themselves that they're in control of their lives, they're giving up their excuses, and acknowledge that it's hard. And just like Jill and our other listener who wrote to me to support my changes, this was hard, giving up the excuses of, that in order to make change. And it feels more empowering having that community of people that I've never met, who are reaching out of the ether to say, you're not actually alone. You're in control of your life, and we support you making that choice and doing it. And I think that was in the context of ADHD, when somebody reaches out and says, not, hey, why are you so fidgety, but, hey, do you want to hold my spinner, or is there something I can do to help you? I know how hard this is. I have been there. I have felt this way. What has worked for me in the past is, you're not alone, can go a long way to help support that.
Oh, that's very powerful. Very powerful. And I think that for me, like when I look at, because like I said, you inspired me to drink more water. And when I think about like my healthy diet and exercise and where I want to go with that, if I can give up the excuses, if I can just say, you know what, I'm making up excuses and throw those to the side, then I also feel like I have more ownership in it, that I get to decide what I'm going to do today, what choices I'm going to make. And if I decide to not exercise, or decide that it's a decision I've made for whatever reason. But I think it's good to get the excuses out of the way, like they're not real. It's not, to say you don't have time isn't true. You do have time. You just have to make the time, or, for so many different things that we could talk about with this. But Yeah. And it was interesting because recently I had a client who actually listened to our last podcast about problems.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the one that actually just read the message to you that you can do this. But one of the things that she said is she said, I hope you make a great day.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, I hope you make a great day. And she followed up with, we really do have the power and choice to do that. Well, first of all, I can't tell you as a coach how proud I am of this client to be able to say that, because it's not always easy to see. But it's just such wise words to remember, and words I'm going to always remember. Make it a good day, and design your life where there is very little regret, and you can look back and think, I was mindful and I did live in the moment and I enjoyed these moments and made it the best that I could, because we all have things that are going to go sideways. That's just life, right?
Absolutely.
That was number 4.
Number 4. What is the next number we are doing?
Number 5 is give up the fixed mindset.
People with a fixed mindset think their intelligence or talents are simply fixed traits, and that talent alone leads to success without hard work. They're wrong. Successful people know this. They invest an immense amount of time on a daily basis to develop a growth mindset, acquire new knowledge, learn new skills, and change their perception so that it can benefit their lives. Remember, who you are today, it's not who you have to be tomorrow.
I love that. Who you are today, it's not who you have to be tomorrow. I love that. This growth mindset I guess it's like a theory, right? That they are teaching in schools. And my daughter was taught about this growth mindset. And so anytime you hear anyone in the family say, I can't do something, she'll be like, yes, you can. Growth mindset. Yes, you can. I can do hard things. And that's what she says. She goes around saying, I can do hard things. So when she says that she can't unload the dishwasher, I'm like, yes, you can. You can do hard things. She just looks at me. But, I love this idea that can't isn't an option. You're going to look for a different option. And this is definitely a limiting belief that I want people to really shift and not believe anymore. Again, it's giving you more empowerment. It's giving you design rights of your life and what you deserve to have. And but I also think it's not misleading in the sense that a lot of these things do take hard work. It's not always an easy path, but gosh, all of those lessons that are learned and all of the accomplishments that you can achieve and how you can help other people or whatever it is that your dreams are. I just think it's a great thing. And I think we need to be proud of our successes, and share these things with the world and be proud. You did it. You are a story. You are an inspiration that could really help somebody else.
Can I tell you something that I keep in the back of my head that helps me with this? And it's one of those things that I learned on the internet, and then I went to seek out the truth, and I actually prefer what I learned on the internet.
Are you saying the internet is not true?
The internet was in fact wrong here, but I prefer what the internet says. So what the internet says is, and this is, when I think about rebuilding myself or changing myself or learning a new thing, often it starts with like, hey, we live a long time as humans, and we've talked about this on the show. We can make choices about new careers and new directions anytime we want. A job is a job. We can go back to school. We can learn new things. We can take up new skills anytime we want. Heck, I shaved my beard yesterday. That's right. I shaved my beard. But
I bet you look like you're 18.
I do. And my kids want to kiss me again. Anyhow, the trick is I used to have in my head this meme that was every 7 to 10 years, every cell in the human body replaces itself, right? Which means, according to the internet, we are literally new people. Every 10 years, like our cells change. We are different than who we were born to be every 10 years. And that was a fantastic metaphor for me about change. And it was something that I was able to keep in my head as a like a lighthouse beacon that would help me understand how I wanted to change in the world. Well, it turns out that's not true. And so if you're a doctor, I get it. It's totally not true. Fat cells are replaced at a rate of about 10% per year in adults. Heart cells about 1% per year. We don't change. Neurons,
still the same person.
In your cerebral cortex are never replaced, and that's the thing that depresses me, right?
Oh.
The neurons that you're born with in your brain are never replaced, right? So if they die, they're gone. So,
yes.
but that even makes the point better, right? Because that means you have to keep your brain firing in order to stay alive. And I don't mean breathing, I just mean engaged.
Right.
It is all that much more important that you are learning new things, you're trying new things, you're keeping your body, you're making good choices for your body, you're learning little workouts you can do, stand up on your tiptoes over and over again while you're waiting in line, things that you can do to engage every one of your senses all the time will make you feel that much better, live longer, and be happier. That's what I think about.
I love that.
I also remember learning time, right? Interstitial time between things is time you can engage your brain. Audiobooks, podcasts, whatever it is, engage your brain on downtime. The time between time is time. It doesn't all have to be marked as sitting down or resting or turning off or opening Facebook. I love these little reminders, these little lessons, and they attach to me the ADHD time. Interstitial time is time to really sit back and focus on, have I put everything that I'm going to need to remember in a list? Can I review the list and see if it triggers anything I've forgotten? Do I have everything I need in the place that I need it? Like, I just have to go through my routines. So that's yet another thing you can do to stay on top of it.
That's a really interesting point, because I just had a client who was struggling with that because she was constantly leaving things behind. So, she was forgetting things for her meetings and stuff like that, and losing important journals and stuff like that. So that might be something we may want to talk about.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get it on the list.
Yeah. Because I think those routines, and that's what kind of highlighted when you said that. It was like, it's those routines that you have to really depend on to those checklists and such. So yeah, let's
put it on the list.
Later.
There you go. A future show has just been inspired right here.
That's right.
Live. I love it. Thank you. I will say, we are taking a break.
We are.
Right? Should we mention the vacation?
We probably should.
We should. So not next week. We have one more show coming up next week, and that's our show on success stories, and then we're taking a break. We're taking the month of July off because what people are not doing in July, generally, according to our stats, is listening to podcasts. And so we, too, are going to take a break from July. So we'll come back first week of August with a whole slate of new shows. So next week we've got one new show, and then don't unsubscribe. We're still around. We're just taking a little snoozer.
That's right.
For the month of July.
It's a good time to check out some of the back episodes.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
It's been a treasure. It's been a real pleasure today.
And a treasure.
Pleasure treasure.
It's a pleasure treasure.
It's a pleasure treasure. That sounds weird. Look at how fast that got strange.
All right. We're going to leave now.
We are going to leave now. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright. We'll catch you next week right here on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.